Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2024 RAMP Disability Resources and Services 33rd Annual Changing Attitudes and Breaking Barriers Luncheon. I am Steve Summers from Rockford's Greatest Hits 100.5 and 95.3 The Bull. Thank you for inviting me back again. Now, you may notice that on your table you have some incredible desserts. You have the donuts. There's a big controversy about the donuts, apparently at the Mayor's Hunger Luncheon, who had the best apple cider donuts. Well, we think these are good. You tell us. There'll be more conversation about that with Amy later. But the donuts are yours, so if you're hungry, you can start eating the donuts. I always have dessert before dinner, so that's okay. So we've got a lot of things to cover. First of all, the flowers available on your tables, they are for $15, and you can pay through the auction portal by cash or check. And you could do that even at the checkout table as well in the back of the room. So make sure you claim your flowers before somebody else at your table does. The auction is online right now as we speak, and you can access it by scanning the QR code in the program or on your table. And that auction will close at 12:30, exactly at 12:30. And you can also use a different QR code right there in the programs or even on your tables to make a donation to RAMP today. We make it super easy for you. The RAMP staff is also available, and they're collecting donations at the checkout table in the back when you leave if you'd like that way as well. So we have a lot of things to get to and a lot of videos and a lot of special guests. So we will start off with our board president. Are you ready? Please welcome to the podium Arliss Hendershot, our board president, everyone. Arliss.
You did not catch me eating a donut.
No, I didn't.
You came close.
I'm going to go get mine right now.
Okay, you can't have mine though. I'm vertically challenged here, so deal with me while I adjust this. Wow, a sold out crowd. This is almost unbelievable. I've been a RAMP board member for 25 years, a volunteer for many years before that. And I can remember when we were happy if we broke the 100 mark for attendees. I can remember when we were telling people if you pay for your lunch, you can invite somebody at no charge so that we can introduce them to RAMP. And today we have a sold out crowd. I give yourself a round of applause. It's just simply wonderful. I am so very proud of this organization and the staff, who are wonderful, and the impact it has had on the community. My dear husband made a profound statement a couple of weeks ago when he said, "You dearly love RAMP." And he summed it up very succinctly. I do dearly love RAMP. For those of you who don't know, my employer Milestone, who has a table over here, and RAMP basically have the same roots. They were started with the help and the vision of a man by the name of Jim Hamilton, a leader in the world of disability rights and awareness. And if you look at the mission statements of both organizations, they're almost identical, except one deals with intellectual disabilities and one deals with physical disabilities. And both have had a huge impact. I'm honored to work with both organizations and to continue Mr. Hamilton's mission and vision. But the work is far from done. This is where we need your help. We need your help more than just coming to a luncheon, which is great because you're going to learn a lot today. The impact this past year has been huge for what RAMP has accomplished, and you'll be finding more about that later. But budget restraints, and I'm not talking state budget, I'm talking budget restraints from the revenue coming in from grants, donations, all of our revenue streams, limit what can be done. And this is where you can help. There's QR codes on little foldy thingies. That's the distinguished real term for it, foldy thingies, on your table. Please consider digging deep and making a contribution. If you would rather make a cash or check contribution, As you leave, people will be at the back. You can request an envelope, and they will gladly help you fill that out. Now, when I say the work is not done, let me give you two very personal examples. Unless you spend a fair amount of time around me, you probably don't notice that I sometimes have a kind of odd way of doing certain things. I have one doctor that told me I had a good tattoo-to-tooth ratio, and that I frustrated doctors because I was bright enough to figure out my way around things if I couldn't do it, and that's sometimes what got me in trouble. But yes, I am a member of the disabled community. You don't know it by looking at me. You don't know it by listening to me. But if you're around me for a fair amount of time, you'll pick up on it. So I want to share two very personal examples of why I say the work is not done, especially in the area of advocacy and education. One day I was approached at a place where I frequently go. In fact, I go there multiple days a week, and I always use a handicap parking spot. I'm legal. I have one of those blue permanent handicap disability placards, and I'm not shy. I will use it. I was told a complaint had been filed by a young lady who had to drive a van for work. And she was having problems maneuvering this van because of where I was parking. And so I needed to move so that she could maneuver her van, because after all, why did I get the preferential treatment? Now, the spot I picked for several reasons, so I ignored the request. And most of you in this room know me, so you can see me doing that quite well. When it got to be about the third time it brought to my attention, I brought up the fact that I had a placard. I legally had a right to use that, and I picked that spot because of my mobility issues, and it was easier for me to use. Conversation continued, and I finally got so blunt as I said, they do not give these things out in a box of Cracker Jack. I needed to go through a medical exam and have it approved. That ended the discussion. Bluntly, this was a discussion that never should have happened, but it also shows the need for education. As many of you know, my husband was critically ill recently. Joe suffered from a severe hearing loss. I shouldn't say suffered. Joe had a severe hearing loss. He was profoundly deaf in one ear, severely deaf in the other, and that was related to his military service. When he was in the hospital, I had notes all over the place on every record, with every nurse, with every caregiver. Anywhere I felt that it was needed, that if the doctors were communicating with him and I was not in the room, to please call my cell phone. I had my cell phone number plastered all over the place. A couple of doctors told me, quote, they were too busy to do that. And my husband seemed lucid enough. Yes, he was lucid. My husband was a very intelligent man, as many of you people know. But with his hearing loss, he would maybe pick up a word here, a word there. He'd scramble words, and things got lost in translation. This wasn't a reasonable accommodation. This was something that probably was covered by the ADA if I would have pushed it. One day, when a doctor just said, I don't have time to call her, I'm too busy, I spent 5 hours tracking down the doctor's staff to find out what was going on. That's not acceptable, and that's why I say RAMP's work is far from done. The advocacy, training, and education that RAMP does is critical. We are not disabled. We are differently abled and deserve the same respect and access as others. I shouldn't have to beg. I shouldn't have to make cases. My brain still works. My legs don't. My vision's a little goofy. But I figure out ways to get things done. So consider helping us with our mission and sharing your talent or treasure. because we need each and every one of you in this room. Again, the folder thingy on your table with the QR code, or ask for an envelope. RAMP's success is a combination of the work of dedicated staff and dedicated volunteers, many of whom are here today. I'm going to start with the volunteers. We can't do anything if we don't have money. And our finance committee is crucial in making sure our books are solid and we're doing everything we need to so that we have the funds to provide the services. So I'm going to start by introducing members of the Finance Committee, and when I say your name, could you please stand? Danny DeMario with Wintrust Commercial Banking. Are you with us? Ben Dietig, RSM. And Dave Holmuth with the YWCA, who has been our guardian angel more times than I can count. Thank you, Dave, for everything. RAMP's board is unique in that 50% of its members must have some type of disability. And we do have to track it, and we do have to report it, and that's fine. It's important for so many reasons, but it helps us stay focused. It helps us serve the people we serve because we know what they have to fight. We know what they're up against. We're up against it too. So I would like to introduce the people who serve on the board with me today. Lafakiria Vaughn is our vice president, and she's with the Winnebago County State's Attorney's Office. I saw Lafakiria earlier. J.J. Wendt is our secretary, and he's with Lutheran Social Services of Illinois. Laura McAndrew she's back there in the back. And our newest board member, Francesca Reyna, CBI Bank and Trust. We have one emeritus board member, Joe Marshall, who's actually been on the board longer than me, and he has 27 years of service, and he's retired from Landstar. I know Joe is here. We have many members of the RAMP staff here. Could the members of the RAMP staff either stand or raise your hand to be recognized, please? And these people do an absolutely amazing, amazing job. And these people care. They know compassion. They live compassion. We have many elected officials and dignitaries also joining us today. Mayor Tom McNamara, Rockford Alderman Jeff Bailey, Rockford Alderwoman Gina Meeks, Rockford Alderman Kevin Frost, Rockford Alderwoman Gabriella Torina, District 205 Superintendent Aaron Jarrett. And I tell you, the school districts are critical for our work, and we appreciate all of the support we get. Harlem School District Superintendent Terrell Yarborough, Harlem School Board Member Evelyn Weeks, Rockford Park District Executive Director Jay Sandine, and we have always had an amazing relationship with the Park District and the Therapeutic Rec Program, and we just basically make a call and they put the wheels in motion. They are wonderful. Rockford Fire Chief Michelle Pankow, Belvedere Park District Executive Director Jen Janke, Circuit Judge Curtis Robert Tobin, Associate Judge Ryan Swift, Belvedere School District School Board Member George Herrera, and if there are any other elected officials or dignitaries that we missed, would you please stand at this time and accept our apologies for not recognizing you. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it back over to Steve, and remember, envelopes in the back. cash or check, QR code, and the folder thingy on the table. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Iris. Yes, this is that thingamajiggy thing she was talking about. QR codes everywhere, just find it right there. Before we get to lunch, Greenfire has asked me to ask you if you have a dietary restriction to make sure that you have that card visibly displayed for the servers, and I believe at this time it is time for lunch. A reminder that the silent auction tables close at 12:30. Make sure you check the codes. The thingamajiggy has the codes in it as well. So 12:30 we close the silent auction. Enjoy lunch.